and welcome to another episode of Mine Planning Matters, a podcast where we talk about where the industry gets it both right and wrong when it comes to mine planning and mining engineering. This podcast is not just for mine planners, it's for everyone who has anything to do with mine plans, from those who create them, to those who execute them, and all the way up to those who endorse or sign off on them. My name is Mark Bowater, Director and Founder of Australian Mining Consultancy Insignia Mining, and I speak from experience, having been involved in mine planning for over 30 years. Welcome to the second edition of Mine Planning Matters. I'm down here in Orange, New South Wales, Australia. It's a beautiful day outside, and so I figured why not film it outside rather than sit in a stuffy sort of house inside. Now, anyone who has seen me speak, watched some of my webinars and so on will know that I am a big fan of stochastic scheduling. I think that it is the future of the industry. I can't believe that we haven't gone there already, and we need to. We need to go there. And so it's something that I've been pushing hard and going to continue to push hard. Because I've been pushing hard on stochastic scheduling, I'm going to make a series of these early Mine Planning Matter podcasts around stochastic scheduling. And I figure a good place to start is terminology or definitions and so on. So deterministic scheduling, let's talk about what deterministic scheduling is. Deterministic scheduling, I call it a single snapshot in time. It's when we have fixed assumptions for availabilities and utilizations, what our ore body sort of looks like and so on. And so therefore we have single assumptions for everything. And the thing about deterministic scheduling is that every time you run that schedule, you'll get the same outcome because it's got the same set of assumptions that have gone into it. And that's what we do and have done the whole time that I've been in the mining industry, is we have run deterministic schedules. So we make single assumptions for everything, put them into a schedule, and we say this is what's going to happen, basically. I think that one of the great failings of the mining industry, of mine planning in the mining industry, is our unwavering faith in those deterministic schedules. We think that they're going to happen, and it's one of the crimes. It's one of the crimes that I write about in Crimes Against Mine Planning, is our unwavering faith in deterministic schedules. So that's what a deterministic schedule is. Now, the alternative to deterministic schedules is probabilistic or stochastic scheduling, and I use those two terms interchangeably. I'm sure it's not right. I'm sure that there are maths people out there who know maths and probability and statistics way better than me, who will correct me on what is the difference between those two terms. But for me, as I say, I use them interchangeably, and I tend to use the word stochastic scheduling rather than probabilistic scheduling. And stochastic scheduling is applying variability to your input assumptions, and so therefore having distributions around production rates or availabilities, utilizations, even sort of ore body, grades and those sorts of things. And then running a number of schedules, a number of iterations of the schedule, and applying those distributions to the inputs, which means that each schedule is going to come out differently. So it's not like deterministic schedule. So that's what stochastic or probabilistic scheduling is. And really where that comes from is the term variability. I think that variability is one of the least understood and considered elements of mine planning. And it's something that we sort of almost tend to ignore to some extent. And so, we don't build variability into our mine plans. And variability is that state of change, of randomness, and so on, where things aren't constant. And so you do get changes in availability, you get breakdowns and all these sorts of things. There are so many elements of variability that go into, or that happen in real life in mines. And so it's the variability that leads to uncertainty. Uncertainty is that state of not knowing exactly what the future holds, exactly where things are going to go, and that's caused by variability. And then that uncertainty is what leads to risk, basically. And so risk is the possibility that things are not going to quite go exactly how you think they're going to go. And variability and uncertainty can be positive or negative. They can be up or down. You could get better production rates than what you think, and so on. And so when you get better than what you expect, that's really opportunity. There's an opportunity there. When you get worse than what you think, or downside, then that's when you get risk that comes to play. And so for me, it's variability that leads to uncertainty that leads to risk. And I do think that we don't consider risk enough in our mind plans. And that leads me to an interesting point, right? There's a quote by a guy called Peter Drucker, which is that trying to predict the future is like driving down a country road at night time with no lights on while you're looking out the back window. And when we create mind plans, that's actually what we're doing, is that we're actually trying to predict the future. And as I said before at the start of this, we have this unwavering sort of faith in our deterministic schedules and that they're right. But if we actually understood that we're trying to predict the future, then maybe we wouldn't be quite so confident in them. And for me, I actually want to suggest that maybe part of that lies in the use of the term plan, mind plan. Calling it a plan almost implies that there's a high degree of certainty there and that it's going to happen. And maybe we shouldn't be using the word plan that gives it that false sense of confidence in it. Maybe we should be calling it something else, like a mind prediction or a mind estimate or a mind forecast or something that doesn't imply that it is going to happen concretely. So I just wanted to float that sort of concept for people. I think that, calling them mind plans makes people think that they are definitely going to happen, and they don't necessarily.
Thanks for listening to Mind Planning Matters and my thoughts on mind planning. This podcast is for the benefit of the mining industry, and that's you. So I'd love to hear from you through the comments section, and please feel free to let me know any topics you'd like discussed in future episodes. You'll find much more content at our Insignia Mining website, and if you find any of our content valuable, please let your mining colleagues know so they can benefit as well.